We are still playing Shadowlands healers. We're just doing Dragonflight content. How's it going, YouTube? My name is LBNinja7, your favorite WoW healing YouTuber. And guys, does your YouTube look anything like this? Look, all I had to do was look up Mythic Plus is, and you just see countless videos about how healing is ruined, healing is awful, the state of healing, it's just bad. And we've all seen just how bad this meta is. I'm sure you've seen it by now. If not, you are under a rock, but let me just show you. We have 5 specs at the top. These are the 5 specs, these are the leaderboards. It's just a wild time to play Mythic Plus right now, but we're gonna focus more on the healers, and I'm not just gonna make another video like one of these. I'm gonna offer up what I think is what's really behind it. What does it actually feel like? That I don't think I've seen this sentiment be shared before. This is just gonna be my take on the situation, and I hope that you guys enjoy it, but to put it simply, to basically just lay it all out for you guys right here at the beginning of the video, I think Holy Paladin is the only healer that has made it to Dragonflight. They're the only healer currently in Mythic Plus that feels like a Dragonflight healer, whereas the rest of the healers, the other 5 healing specs, feel like Shadowlands healers. They are still stuck in the past doing current content. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, one take that you've probably heard 1,000 times is just how bloated their talents are and how many abilities they have to access and to just cycle between, and every single button that they have feels like it tops the whole group up, whereas other healers, most of their talent tree is all about just giving passive buffs to their just throughput, their constant throughput, and it's just made them feel like they've adapted. They have a fully fleshed out talent tree. Congrats on the rework, by the way. It felt great, but they feel like a full Dragonflight class with a full talent tree that gives you options and very impactful buttons, whereas the rest of us have just been left behind. We feel like we did in Shadowlands. We have the same amount of buttons to press that we did in Shadowlands. So let's elaborate on that just a little bit. Let's take a few steps back and let's go back into Shadowlands. Let's remember what it was like. So this, I just picked a random healer, but it actually serves a good purpose that I picked Resto Druid to kind of make this point. This is the talent tree system that we had back in Shadowlands. So as you know, you had a covenant, you attuned to one covenant, you gained 2 abilities. One was like an actual throughput ability, and one was just a useful utility ability. But you gain those 2 big major buttons, which in often cases was like your core cooldown. Like think your druids Convoke, that was their Night Fae Covenant ability. But you basically gained 2 abilities, then you gained this little talent tree that came with one little companion, I think. Yeah, one companion that would fight alongside you and help you and give you these buffs. These were not as powerful. I'm not trying to say that these are as powerful as any of these talents. However, in the scaling of things, in Shadowlands, these felt powerful. They felt impactful. These buffs, like Well-Owned Instincts, this was a mainstay for Druids. It was amazing. Kindred Spirit was an amazing ability. Convoke, obviously amazing. Druids did not even want to see what life was like without Convoke after Shadowlands, but some of these talents were just so impactful that you felt them. Even like your effusive anime accelerator, it did a lot of damage. Every time you use your carrying ability, it would chunk a bunch of damage. Now let's fast forward back to the present and let's look at the Resto Druid's current talent tree. You have Convoke the Spirits, which is just a button that you basically had for free back then, so we can mark that off. That was basically given to you at the start. It was a Covenant ability. You have Tranquility, which at the time was just in your base kit. So they've removed something from your base kit, put it on your talent tree. And then from there, you just have a bunch of passives. You have Flourish, but you had Flourish to begin with. Flourish was one of your actual talents back in Shadowlands. So here we have what was the talent tree. It was 7 talents, you know, your 7th talent being your keystone talent, your most impactful, quote, talents. And once we kind of take 7 talents away from this tree, so we can mark off all of this territory. Let's actually do the other talent tree, the druid tree first, since it's all clumped together a bit more nicely. So if we take off 7 talents here, what would that be? That would be from about here down. So we can take off all of these. Then let's take off the covenant ability talent tree, the little tree that you get from your covenant, that was about this long. We'll make it about this long. So from here, basically all you're left with is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 talents that are new. Yeah, they're new. You get 9 more things than you had in the past. But if you remember back to the start of Dragonflight, they felt that this system for healers was too strong. They felt that we gained too much to scale us a bit past where the healing requirement was coming into Dragonflight. So what do? That is when they started the whole onslaught of changes, adding more stamina, adding health to the players, but increasing the damage that we take in. It's just, that is why it all started, is to scale those extra nine or so talents that we get with the actual content that we're doing. That way we weren't just these raid bosses running around and we weren't just unkillable. We actually felt more evenly matched with the content. But where has that left us? It's left us in a world where healing keys has become extremely stressful now, and I could just sit here and harp on that point. That is the main takeaway, obviously, of all these videos that we've been seeing recently, but instead I'm just going to say it. We are still playing Shadowlands healers. We're just doing Dragonflight content. I mean, let's just take a little microcosm for a second. Let's take the third boss of Halls of Infusion, a very easy, not an easy boss by any stretch, but a very good way to kind of look at this. Look at the incoming damage that we're taking, because this is the big heal check, one of the big heal checks of this expansion. So this boss just sits there, it applies a dot at the start of the fight, and that dot lasts the entire fight. So you as a healer are basically just struggling to deal with this dot because that dot hurts. It really does. It ticks away at your whole group constantly, and you always have to be mastering your rotation, not just outside of your cooldowns, but also cycling your cooldowns perfectly. If you press, like as a Mistweaver monk, if I press Revival and Chi-Ji at the same time, we will wipe. It just will happen if I'm doing a high enough key level. I have to do Chi-Ji right once everyone gets to about 50% health, and then top them up, and then let everyone get to about 40% health, and then Revival, and then let everyone get down to about 20% health, then Shadowlands Gift. You know, you have to cycle your buttons perfectly because you only have 3. Resto Druids, if they talent into it, they have Tranquility, they have Convoke the Spirits, and then they don't even take Flourish. That is it in Mythic Plus. Other than that, they basically have to hope that all of these talents that they're taking to get the same amount of passive throughput as a Holy Paladin gets for free from all of their buttons being able to be cycled. They have to hope that that's enough. And it just shows the disparity that's happening because Holy Paladin is the only healer that has a fully fleshed out talent tree, a Dragonflight full talent tree. And it's because it's not just bloated by all of these passives like Rejuve, healing is increased by up to 20%, and Trank healing is increased by 30%, healing for more on low heal targets. That just buffs one of your buttons. And then your Rejuve now just feels like it does the healing that it should. Because we don't notice these things. We don't notice that, oh, if I talent out of Regenesis, my Rejuves just will be so much weaker, I won't be able to heal the content. No, we notice when we have our Trank up, our Convoke up, our Revival up, our Chi-Ji up. We notice our buttons. Now, let's kind of think back to some changes that could get us from where we are now to where we want to be in the future. Obviously, the Holy Paladin rework is the most fresh thing on our mind, but think back a little bit further to when they added Shadowlands Gift to Mistweaver monks. I mean, the rejoicing that happened in the Mistweaver monk community was amazing, and it was so great to be a part of that because it felt like they gave us something that we desperately needed. I mean, we were trying to do content with only Chi-Ji and Revival. It was miserable. And not to mention that, we felt so much worse than we did in Shadowlands because we came into Shadowlands thinking that we were going to be great. We were doing really good in the PTR, and then they nerfed Ancient Teachings. They nerfed the changes they had done to Vivify. So it just felt like we were playing a weaker version of our Shadowlands self. So then adding in Shadowlands Gift brought us back a little bit more closer to that line that we should be at, to that threshold that Paladin has set for everyone. But just one more cooldown would push us that much further. Now, I think they need to do that, exactly that, on all of the talent trees for all of the healers except for obviously Holy Paladin because this. Like on Resto Druid, they're actually doing that, and that is why I think that Resto Druid is a great thing to look at, a great class to look at, because it's a good example. They are actually adding a cooldown to Resto Druid come 10.1.7, where basically it's like Fallen Order was on Mistweaver Monk, but I think it's going to be a lot weaker. I haven't actually tested it a ton, but you get a free Swiftman on a target when you press this button, and it spawns a little tree ant who will just stand next to you and spam Nourishes, which is just a single target heal that Resto Druids do not even take. It used to be a talent. It's somewhere on this talent tree right now, but no one takes it. It's one of these grayed out ones, I'm sure. Oh, I think I just hovered over it. But it just spams Nourish into whoever needs it. So it's most likely you're going to use it on the tank as a spot heal, and then it's just going to spam Nourishes on that tank until they're fully topped up, and then it's just going to help you heal the DPS. But it's just another button that's going to help them get through these mechanics. Another cooldown that we can cycle, not another rotational ability or passive that they have. It's going to bring them closer to where Holy Paladin is currently. Holy Paladin, if you don't know, if you still have not gotten a chance to play Holy Paladin, really quick, I just want to show you guys that they have 6 buttons, 6 cooldowns that they can cycle between for upcoming damage or just big major damage instances. Tears Deliverance, Aura Mastery, Avenging Wrath Might. There are some other ones, I'm sure. Either one of these 2 abilities, Light's Hammer or Holy Prism, and Divine Toll, which is something they actually get a major cooldown from their tree, their class tree. Imagine this, okay? This is another point that I was going to make, so I might as well make it right now. Imagine getting Divine Toll on your Holy Paladin, just to your Paladin tree, and then imagine thinking, I'm going to make an alt today. I'm going to make a Mistweaver Monk. And you come to this tree, you get them all the way to level 70, and you get Summon Jade Serpent Statue? What? Why is that a keystone talent? How is that even close to comparable to the Paladin tree? This is just a work of art, honestly. This tree, the class tree, the holy tree, they're just amazing because that is what Dragonflight was hyped up to be. It was supposed to give you all these explosive abilities, make your class feel new, feel fun again, and that is exactly why so many people not just swap to Holy Paladin for the strength of it, but have stuck around with Holy Paladin for the fun of it. And that is why people like me, people who watch my channel, I mean, just if you want to get an insight as to how it's felt playing Mistweaver recently, just watch my view count just go down over the past few months. I hate to say that, but it's just true. So what am I trying to get at? I am trying to say that all of these passives have just brought, these have basically just been stat scaling for the healer's base level of healing, that bottom line on the graph of how much healing they do, that bottom line, just to come up a bit. But we don't live in a world where that constant throughput is what makes or breaks keys. We live in a world where there is constantly, every single pack in Mythic Plus requires a cooldown. There is constantly damage that is happening that can 1 or 2 shot your raid, or your group, your party. And Holy Paladins having 6 buttons that are built for that instance are the only healer that currently exists right now. And here's a visual of that. So basically all this was just to say, I think it was a fun way to think of it, is that all these other classes, they feel like they did in Shadowlands. We have as many abilities to cycle between. Our rotations haven't changed much. If anything, Mistweavers, ours has gotten worse because of all the nerfs that we've gotten from our base rotation, like Ancient Teachings is a perfect example. But all of the other healer specs suffer from this. Our talent trees just do not have impactful buttons. They just have strong passives. Let's look at Disc Priest even. Let's scroll up and let's look at Disc Priest. They are another great example. Yeah, coming over to Shadow Priest, or I'm sorry, Discipline Priest, they basically get Rapture, which was part of their base kit back in Shadowlands. They also have to talent into Power Word Barrier, which was part of their base kit back in Shadowlands. So it's this illusion that we have more buttons than we used to, because we get, look at all this big tree. This is a big, pretty tree. We get to pick so many things from it. No, it's an illusion because they've taken so many of our major cooldowns from our base kit, dumped them onto this tree, and made us had to waste points to get them back. And then from there, what do we get? Schism, that was part of Discipline Priest's old talent tree. Shadow Covenant, boom, there we go. That's a new button. It's a new ability that they have access to. It's great. It changes the rotation. It feels fun, but that's one button. Outside of that, the only cooldowns that you have are literally Rapture, Power Word Barrier, and Shadow Covenant. I mean, it's just like, how has no one pointed this out? They literally have no cooldowns to deal with mechanics other than what they already had plus one thing. And that is the perfect representation of what I mean when I say that we are still playing Shadowlands healers, just it's called Dragonflight. So guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully it wasn't too negative for you guys. I was trying to stay I was trying to be matter of fact and not be super negative, so hopefully that came across that way. But if you are a developer watching this from Blizzard, guys, just literally give every other healer one more major cycling cooldown, like 1.5 minute cooldown. Give Monk's Fallen Order, give like Kindred Spirit or something back to Druids. I don't know, just give us all something. Boon would be amazing on Priests, although I know a lot of Priests don't like that ability. But just imagine if it was this talent tree, but just replace one of these passives that they don't take, like Wheel and Woe, or Well and Woe, I don't know how to say that. But imagine if they just replaced that with Boon. I mean, like, it would just make it fun again. And it would make all the other healers feel like how Paladin does, where it's just, sometimes it just sucks getting caught with your pants down, and Holy Paladin doesn't have that problem because they have 6 pairs of pants. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I appreciate all of the support lately. Thank you guys so much for not only showing my YouTube some love, but showing my stream some love. We are live most of the days in the week on twitch.tv/lbninja7. That link will be in the description below if you guys want to go ahead and throw it a follow so you know when I go live. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I really appreciate, like I said, all the support. Make sure and comment what you guys think. Was this like a fresh take, or was it just me kind of reskinning what other people have said? I would understand both ways, but guys, I just kind of wanted to put throw my 2 cents in the pond. I don't know what the saying is, but thank you guys so much once again for watching. Make sure you subscribe on the way out. Our subscriber count is getting dangerously close to 3K, and that would be amazing to hit by the end of the year. So thank you so much for hitting that button. It's free to do so. But like I said, check out my Twitch. But guys, I could ramble on all day. I guess it's just part of being from the South. But thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.